Welcome back to another issue. I'm Beastie Boy,
I'm Table.
I'm Red.
It is I, Shino Brando.
and in this issue, we discuss the adventures of dealing with 7 evil exes with Scott Pilgrim versus the world.
So this movie came out August 13th, 2010. I actually can't believe this movie is 10 years old. It had a budget of $85 million, and it had a box office of $48.1 million. It is the antithesis of cult classic movies.
It did not do well. Which is weird, because I'm pretty sure everyone I've ever met has seen this movie, you know?
If you are just like a surreal kind of like movie lover, right? Like that Scott Pilgrim it hits you in the right spot, man. It's not for the it's the irreverent kind of movie, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but like it's so stylistically unique. Like it does stuff because of, its source material being a comic. It treats itself like a comic, and in that way it ends up really coming across completely different to pretty much anything else you're going to find. So I feel like most people watch it for that reason alone, just because it's so different than nearly any other movie you're going to watch.
You can appreciate the fact that it doesn't take itself serious.
Mm-hmm.
And also the fact
No,
that...
no one involved takes it seriously.
Truly. Including Nega Scott.
Oh, Nega Scott.
I will say though, I love looking at the cast for this movie because
The star
you get shit like, yeah, you've got Chris Evans during his Human Torch phase, like
The early
fucking
days.
Brie
Right.
Larson.
Yep, early days.
Queen Brie, yes.
Yes, we love her very
And
much.
then Brandon Routh.
Superman.
Mm-hmm.
Aubrey
all-
Plaza.
Yeah, they're all in there, man.
Anna Kendrick, how'd you forget her?
Anna Kendrick. That's right.
Like, it's got no right to have these people involved in this project.
And
but
yet.
all of them are having fun.
Yeah.
Like, you can tell everyone is having a good time with this project. And that's fucking wonderful. Like, I'd watch this movie for that alone. Just getting to see a bunch of actors have a good time.
But yeah, just taking the piss out of everything, man. They just, like I said, you can appreciate the fact that the movie doesn't take itself serious whatsoever at all. Like they know it's all zany, they know it's all silly, and they're living it up.
The adaptation of the graphic novel that it's based on,
There you go.
it's not bad.
There we go.
It pays homage very much so to the video game aesthetic in like super funky ways that any movie to date, this is how you do an adaptation. Like, we've all seen super bad adaptations of animes we enjoyed, video games brought to life in movies that didn't do very well. There's hundreds of them. Mario. But serving as an adaptation, this hits all the monies.
So with Brian Lee O'Malley, when he started it, he was working on another project and wanted to kind of branch out to do his own thing, but didn't really know where to start. First, he had to find his own art style, which he couldn't really kind of master just yet. He was trying to find something, but nothing was hitting him. And one of his roommates dropped a book on his desk. It was called Even Monkeys Can Draw Manga, which inspired him because he's like, okay, well, if the title says it all, right, it means manga should be easy. And so he found a format, which Scott Pilgrim became the way it looks. And it immediately bled into video games because that's what he loves. And at the same time, he was going through something very personal, which you can see on the pages. Because Brian Lee lives through Scott Pilgrim himself, and that's the whole story right in there. So for a lot of fans, Scott Pilgrim hits them on a personal, kind of for me too. I was going through a lot of personal stuff, and it hit me on the right note. So that's why Scott Pilgrim gets a lot of love from a lot of underground fans. And even though the book's been out of print for a while now, even Brian Lee O'Malley said himself, like, he didn't even think it was going to take off. He just wanted to do a pet project that he thought would be some kind of like closing chapter on his life too. And like he has, he never had any plans of bringing Scott Pilgrim back. He was just like, it was just a one-time thing, and didn't expect it to just become what it was. So here it is. So yeah, he got a movie out of it.
I think that speaks to when you're writing, if you're not writing a story because you have a story to tell, because you have some sort of arc, some sort of emotional basis for it, you're going to end up with fluff. You can write about anything as long as at the core there is that message, that thing you're trying to get across on the page.
Yeah.
And when that's there, you can write about some fucking guy fighting a bunch of absolutely crazy zany people for a manic pixie dream girl, and it still works because there's something there that matters.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It speaks to people on a very, very touching personal level. Scott Pilgrim versus How to Grow Up.
Step 1, stop dating a high schooler.
That's the way it begins. So let's knock it out of the park. Knives, chow.
She's way more than he deserves.
Innocent, bright-eyed high schooler. Emphasize
She's
high schooler.
17.
Underlined high schooler.
He is 22.
High school.
Terrible. He immediately sits down. He's like he understands that that's a problem. That's a problem.
You gotta
that's a
go.
big
You
no.
can't be
Yeah.
here like that. That's not
Mm-mm.
appropriate.
No.
Anna Kendrick?
She's supposed to be playing the younger sister too. That's weird.
Really?
Yeah, because he's 22. She's his 18-year-old sister, but like she comes off way more adult than Scott, right?
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel like it now, does it?
No, I thought
Exactly. They say she's 18. He's his 18-year-old sister.
she
Put
was.
eyes on it. They said it.
Anna Kendrick was a weird choice for that one. Not because she didn't do a good job, but because in my head I was like, you're trying to convince me that babyface Michael Cera is related to Anna fucking Kendrick? Bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah, no. Well, yeah, Scott is hanging around with this high schooler. Then he gets through the daydream where his days get cut to pieces because he has no concept of time anymore. 'Cause
Valid.
daydreaming. He sees Ramona Flowers, to which he finds out she works at Amazon and orders something right away. And he then, during the course of it, he gets a death threat email from Matthew Patel.
Could you imagine getting a death threat over being interested in a delivery person? Like,
And it's a full-fledged email too, with like time and place and like complete like wording of like honorable wording of like, you and I will meet this place and we shall do battle. Like, whoa.
we will break for tea at 1:30. Like,
Right?
fuck.
The rule of war here.
Yeah, but then he basically just, as he mentioned, skims that and just like,
Yeah.
not important. So it's like,
Yeah.
I was like, sir, this isn't a message. Why would you delete an important message?
I mean,
Oh, he's
if
like,
you
man,
really pay that much
boring.
attention to that fucking email, I would go, that's weird, and move on with my day.
Yeah. Basically, that's what he did. He was just like, this is stupid, and just deletes it.
Or as in Michael Cera fashion, this is stupid and delete. Like,
Let's talk about how he coerces Ramona to like their first date.
Weird.
Like, would not let her leave from his doorstep until she agreed. Wow. Furthermore,
Like-
Ramona agrees.
And she's cool with that, but like, that makes more sense once we start meeting her exes.
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, yikes.
Matthew Patel. Where do we begin? I'll start. Matthew Patel had really nice eyebrows. Let's go.
Ah,
You're right. He does. Just, Matthew Patel is committed to his fucking look.
Oh yeah.
like the whole pirate look, was that what he was going
Pirates
for?
are in.
I agree.
Uh,
All pirates are bi. It's by default.
Damn. So you know what else was also in for pirates? Hot Topic.
Eh,
Supposedly.
to appreciate the Bollywood kung fu fight they had. Silly and zany, but yet it worked.
The weird thing I noticed about the choreography, like, I don't know if it was just me because of, like, I guess how fighting, but at a certain point, it looked like he tried to pull, like, a Michael Jackson move and then continue as, like, normal martial arts. If you know what I'm talking about, where he does, like, the quick leg kick and then just, like, stamps. I don't know if that was just me. Because, like, I was like, is he pulling martial arts and the King of Pop at the same time? Like,
Matthew Patel was a man of many talents. Okay, he sang, he danced, he fought. Care of his eyebrows. I mean, he had very nice hair. Pirate, he took care of himself, man. He took on Scott.
Most pirates.
Yeah, he took on Scott, and that was the problem. The world wasn't prepared for Scott to be actually good at something like
Right.
defending himself. Which I wish the movie would deal on a little bit more, because I know in book like it dives into a lot of more like fantasy elements, and like it has like little RPG things in the background to explain what the deal is and why and whatnot. So like you get the idea that Scott knows all these moves because he video games all day long. So this is where his talents are coming from. So yeah, if you think you can take Scott in a fight, I dare you to think again. This guy, Scott's on top of everything, man. His talents come from every game he's ever played.
Mm-hmm.
Also, the place they were at was an actual shithole. But I mean, like even in real life, the place is just it was like a shithole. That's why they emphasize on the dust. I think maybe because that place was. I think it's been shut down for years, but at the time it was already falling apart, and I believe it was like that bad. You were only going there for like grunge for like your grunge concerts, man. The entire staff Hot Topic right there. So yeah, he crushes number 1. Who's number 2 now? Lucas Lee. I guess I don't know if you guys know who they were poking at with that, right? Do you know who they were getting at?
Not exactly.
Let me just pull up his name. I want to make sure I get his name correctly.
My name is Earl.
Jason Lee, yeah. So Jason Lee at one was a pro skater and then like he sold out, and I can't remember how he hit the community, but like a lot of people in the skate community, I guess Brian Lee O'Malley being one of them, wasn't happy about it. So I guess he poked fun at him, and that's who Lucas Lee was based on.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Was he technically like in real life? Was he like a douche or something, or like?
Oh, he was just a really good skater who sold out to become this high-paid actor.
Oh.
Who used to say he would never sell out, but then just did.
Oh, you hate to see it.
I like how she kept correcting him from when he kept calling it her 7 ex-boyfriends. Just like it's just 7 evil exes.
Yeah, like you can hear her pound like the reference into it too, and it's just like no 7 evil exes, and then like when
Why
it
did
gets
you
to-
saying that?
yeah,
Yeah, exactly.
it's so good. I'm like even myself, I was like she's saying that a lot, but he's not getting it.
Yeah,
Why
exactly.
doesn't he get it? Like,
Because it's Scott Pilgrim.
you're not wrong.
Scott's out, like his brain's out there. When Wallace tells him, he tries to define the L word. Scott's like lesbian. The other L word, lesbians. Idiots.
Yeah, like they really hammered that one in. And I was like, come on, you were so close.
Fucking idiot.
And like that's that scene too when he like says that. Like I was like, man, it's gonna be so heartfelt. I'm in lesbians with you. I was like, bro, you had your chance. It was right there.
So it brings us to number 3. Who's number 3? Todd Ingram.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, with Scott's ex, which you can't believe is Scott's ex.
Fucking, I love Brie Larson's version of Black Sheep. It's such a good fucking song, and also Brie fucking Larson.
Yeah, we all should love Brie Larson. I know I do. It's not every day you get to see Superman and Captain Marvel in one shot,
This is true.
sat beside each other, right? With his ultimate vegan powers.
The first time we can
his-
see DC with Marvel.
Yeah.
Look, have you ever met a vegan? They're exactly like that. They do not shut up about the fact they're fucking vegan.
Oh my
It's like,
God.
you are not better than anybody just because this is how you eat. Brief tangent.
I was gonna say it
Yeah.
made him a Kira. It made him a Kira, man. Like it was crazy.
Apparently, veganism gave him psychic powers. But, like, I once went grocery shopping with a vegan who spent the entire time judging my grocery choices, and I was like, "You could have not come."
Oh my
They
God.
know, but you
This
see, Table,
guy-
that's where they draw their powers from.
Just telling you you're wrong about your life
Yeah.
choices, and you're like, literally, shut up. I did not ask for you here. Stop that. And he's the epitome of that. Fuck.
Yeah.
Which makes
Oh,
just
yeah.
the way he gets taken down triply hilarious.
Yeah.
The vegan police.
Yeah, which are so funny.
Oh,
When they
man.
exited, when they
What?
left the
The police?
scene, it was super funny. Yeah, and they high five.
Like,
It's so hilarious. After the getting rid of Todd Ingram.
oh man.
Even his fucking costume, where it's like all those harsh whites, and you're like, he believes he's better than you too. Fuck.
Yeah, he's pure. Oh yeah, he's
Yeah.
very pure.
Purity police.
I believe he had Adidas on as well. 3 stripes.
Very, very clear. This is the third guy, please.
Yeah.
If you didn't know how to count, we're helping you here.
Todd was
Instant
number
psychic
3.
damage.
Todd was number 3. Scott gets over his ex. What was Envy, right? But what was her actual? I can't remember her actual name for the life of me now. Natalie, was it? It was Natalie.
Yeah.
Was it, I think.
Yeah.
Because he mentions it's like, yeah, well, maybe you should, Natalie. And it's like, nobody's ever called me that.
And
Yeah.
so, yeah. He gets over his ex. She steps down on the ladder now, right? He doesn't hold anything over Scott anymore. And
They're fine.
He moves on. So I guess that brings us to number 4.
Before that, plot-wise, Scott and Ramona have a little falling out because he's pretty much just going like, this is bullshit, you realize. This whole situation is bullshit.
Yeah.
And she's like, well, fuck off then?
Right? Like if this is what you want, then stick around. If not, then you're free to go.
And so he does for a bit, sort of. Except
Yeah.
not for real.
Well, in the book, when it happens, Wallace sends him off on a journey, go find himself. And then, like in his walkabout, he comes across Nega Scott for the first time. I guess he finds himself. He understands all the negativity he brings around his life, and like doing this to Ramona just further pushes him to isolation. Like at the end of the day, Scott, what are you really afraid of? So like he kind of, I think in that part of the book, I think he earns the Power of Love, which I think is the sword, Power Sword of Love.
Yeah, that comes
Which
up later.
which is his first weapon. I think he earns the Power of Self-Respect sword later on, and then I think the book he gets a third one. I think we end up, but I can't remember what it's called. I'll have to look it up again. But in his first journey, yeah, that's where he gets that first sword, and then he continues he realizes like he can't lose Ramona, so he heads back to Toronto, and then the adventure continues. Again, I think that brings us to actually number 4.
Yes, Roxy Richter. Also, can you imagine looking at fucking Ramona Flowers and assuming that girl is straight? Come on.
She's a social butterfly, man. She do whatever she wants.
The lesbian ninja. Oh, it's
Inspired
so
from
fucking gross.
Ivy from Soul Calibur.
I knew that was from something. I knew it.
The whole fight was a love letter to Soul Calibur.
Nice.
That's why Ramona had the giant hammer.
I fucking loved that giant hammer.
From her purse of infinite space, she pull anything, right? So she pulled out the hammer. I mean, it's not an easy defeat. You have to actually get all. You know what? I'm gonna stop that sentence right there. But you like, yeah, you gotta get all up in there, right? You get to get that behind that kneecap to make that to make that happen, right? The first offense is getting through that whip chain. So chain whip, sorry.
It's it's almost an Achilles thing, but weirder.
In a sense. But when he did tickle the fancy hook, he got all the change. The
I'm
first
not
couple fights he
making a
made
joke that's there.
in the first couple fights he made what? A couple of dollars and change. He tickled Roxy's.
Not enough for the bus is what he says.
Yeah, exactly. And he made $275, which is not enough for the bus. When he tickled Roxy's knee, though, that guy he was able to go pizza, man.
Oh man.
I do love that this world just completely follows video game mechanics, and that's just how it is. Like, yeah, you beat someone up because you're both fighting over some girl, and they drop money when they die. Fabulous.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
And not even just random amounts. It's you have a visual representation of how many points you got.
Mm-hmm.
And in Roxy's case, along with every other ex before and after her, you earn exactly, for example, Roxy, you get 4,000 points. For Mr. Patel, you get 1,000 points. Can you imagine if you were just beating up random people in the streets, how many points you would get?
You can in the video game, which literally happens. You beat random people up and you get your change.
Grinding for change.
Mm-hmm.
What it means is that they don't have to spend a million years explaining to you the system. Because, in sci-fi, you gotta explain what the rules are. In fantasy, you've got to explain what the rules are. In Scott Pilgrim, video game logic rules. Carrying on.
You get the idea. I think from right from the beginning, like he tries to force it in your face, and you get the idea, like, oh yeah, okay. It's a real video game kind of. Again, it just makes people feel like Toronto's just, or Canada, I should say, just
Not
a very strange. Yeah, it's just a very strange land. Those of you who are not Canadian who are listening, no, don't run on an RPG system out here in Canada. It's very much a real place.
This is not GTA, please.
I can't be cool and just get changed.
Not with that attitude.
I mean, I can, but I mean, like, there's heavy consequences, man.
Do you think Scott Pilgrim is the source for that one Google search? If you die in Canada, do you die in real life?
Okay, listen.
You're
So
right.
not only is this movie responsible for like a TikTok challenge that people were doing, and it's the line that Knives says to her friend when she's dyeing her hair blue. I didn't even know there was good music until like 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So this movie has left a lasting legacy on the internet.
I don't know. Scott Pilgrim is something that no one should have slept on. Like, it's just one of those things that not many people got at the time. I mean, go back and just watch it anyways.
I mean, yeah, that's like a big thing. Just that if you'd read the book, like if you'd read the graphic novel, you came in knowing what to expect. If you didn't, this movie was going to be out of left fucking field. You're going to be like, what am I witnessing? Especially as it carries on. Because we're not even in the weird stuff yet.
Oh, it's about to get about 3 times weirder. With the appearances of X5 and 6 at the same time, Kyle and Ken Katanagi.
Yes, Ramona dated twins the same goddamn time.
At the same time, but cheating on them both.
Mm-hmm.
Which is infinitely funnier than any sort of twincest plot they could have gone with.
Right.
Yeah,
correct. That was one step away from being not quite PG-13. Like this movie is rated.
Yeah.
It was already pushing its luck with the high schooler.
Yeah.
And it's pushing its luck again.
They summon a dragon. 2 of them.
Fuck yeah, they do.
They summon music dragons. When I saw the music dragons, I was like, oh my god.
Music dragons are fucking wonderful.
I wanted more from that scene. I really did.
But they didn't have time. They had to keep fucking going.
By the way, in the book universe, I believe she's just dating them at the same time, not cheating on them at the same time. She's just dating them at the
You know what? We are here for polyamory, but even that's a little weird.
Facts.
They're brothers. Like what?
Well, yeah,
Brothers?
but they're not
Yeah.
sleeping with her at the same time. Like they don't take place in each other's sloppy seconds. Like,
Well, obviously
No,
not.
just-
It is questionable though.
oh yeah, for sure. But that's not the first questionable thing, and it's certainly not the last.
It won't be. Nope.
So, in defeating the twins, Scott gets an extra life, which is once again a video game mechanic. And you go, what?
Well, he legitimately was getting a life.
You're like, okay, I guess. Except, meanwhile, after they're falling out, Ramona's got back together with one of her evil exes, Gideon. And so it's just like, fuck.
First and foremost, so that whole sequence of getting to Gideon's place, right? When he when he goes for the was it the final the twins fight, right?
Yep.
Where he has to get into the place, and he walks up to the front door and the password, and he's like, "Come on, dude." And the guy lets him in, and he gets to the second one, and like password, he's like, "Whatever," and they let him in anyways. That whole sequence is funny when he has to go do it again on the extra life.
Mhm.
He just and he completely cuts it by just walking to the guy's like, "Your haircut's stupid," and the guy bursts into change. Right?
Dope.
And then he walks to the second, yeah, exactly. And he walks to the second guys, and he just knocks them out, and he just gets more change. Like the whole sequence was just so funny.
Well, that's that vibe, right? Where you've leveled up and you come back somewhere.
Yeah,
And you're like, yeah, you're all peasants now. Come at me, peons. Like,
I know how to deal with you.
I hit level 99. Let's go. I've got
you
bones to
think you
crush.
need anything?
you know what? We're bad. We haven't gone on about Scott's friends, eh? We're terrible.
Ooh, you're right. Especially because we have one of them in this call with us.
Fuck.
Wow.
For those of you who don't know, Red is Wallace, literally head to toe.
Explain to the audience
would
how I'm Wallace.
Beastie, you begin. Go ahead.
Okay, so in scene of reference to when Wallace is per se texting
Anna Kendrick.
Scott's, Gary Kendrick or Scott's sister, there's times where he can rapidly text a message quicker than anybody can understand what the sentence is being said. Therefore, our friend here, Red, can find something on the internet before we even finish a sentence. We talk about it, searches it up, that's already found somehow. I don't know what to tell
You
you.
mentioned something in Red's presence, and he's already got it Googled. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Just even dress-wise, haircut, attitude. I was like, this is my friend on screen, man. How did he get in this movie?
Ooh.
It's bad enough we have Treffy, that's Spider-Man. Now I have Wallace Wells.
I'm Wallace.
We are accidentally friends with a bunch of actors. I'm sorry.
I swear to you.
Even the supporting cast in this movie is fucking wonderful. It's just so much fun.
Right? Anna
And-
Kendrick's boyfriend ends up making out with Wallace, and I'm like, her
And she's not
exact
even mad.
line- Her exact line is not again.
Yeah.
I think with this
And like
man
they're all
fell, I'd-
caricatures, but you've met these people.
Sex Bomb,
Nice.
Kim, Steven, and Young Neil, which is a riff on Neil Young, those who don't know.
I just got that.
That makes so
That's
much
so
more
good.
sense.
I don't know why that
That's
took me
why-
so long.
That's why I want to say the joke when he comes back at this on the one up, right? He comes back for the extra life, and he goes, "You guys stick together. You guys sound better. Young Neil, you have graduated or send it to just Neil now."
Neil, yeah. That's so much. that
Honestly,
makes
I
so
thought
much
it was
more
a Neil
sense.
Diamond joke, and I just say it's a Neil Young joke. I'm like, yeah, that makes so much sense.
Neil Young, yeah, Young Neil. You're no longer Young Neil. You're just Neil. He's like, "Oh yeah."
It's
Kim's cool.
so good.
He's the best member in the whole thing.
Honestly, Kim
Yeah.
is one of those friends that, listen, we had a thing, but also every single turn you make, I'm just going to shit on you because I'm your friend.
Holy
And I care about you,
I'm
but I'm
here
going
and
to...
support you, but you're an idiot.
And she only really appreciated it at the end when Scott finally apologized for his behavior, and she smiled for the first time.
Hey, is Table Kim?
Yeah.
In our quartet,
Yeah,
I guess so.
like
Yes,
roast on.
so.
You're not wrong.
Yeah,
Like the
because
way.
she-
No, I'm talking about roasting wise.
Oh,
per se.
100%.
And like percent of like, hey, I care about you, but I'll roast the shit out of you if I can.
Love you guys,
Yes.
but holy shit.
Are you being an
That
idiot?
quartet, yes, in that quartet, then that would honestly make Red Scott, and I would have to be. Then I would have to be Steven.
I
That
can't be
makes-
young Neil.
It's the Young Neil.
How does it make him a young Neil though?
You've got a long way to go, but you're gonna get there, and then you'll just be Neil.
Just
And at one point, you'll just be Neil.
I'll upgrade.
Yeah,
No,
you'll
it'll be
ascend
like
from Beastie Boy to just
Wait,
Beastie.
Beastie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh
shit.
my gosh! It goes full
Listen,
circle.
here's me as Scott with questionable choice in women.
Ooh, you're right. Fuck,
Anyway, we
I
are
guess we
Sex
really are.
Alarm. 1, 2, 3, 4.
We're here to sell out and stuff.
This episode is brought to you by the rest of the goddamn plot. We'll get to it eventually.
But
You know,
they're
sorry.
still out and stuff. When they get the opportunity, they do.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say, because like that whole scene too, where Gideon gives him the offer, right? Taking Ramona away, he's about to give him the offer, and then Scott's like, "I'm not signing it," and then young Neil just comes out of nowhere, he's like, "Whoop," and, it's like, and he just signs it and becomes part of the band.
Yeah. Jesus.
Like, actually, yes.
Oh man.
So finally,
I guess what
we
that brings us to
reach
the final fight.
Gideon, the be-all, end-all, biggest douchebag in this entire movie that has somehow microchipped Ramona.
Yeah, this is. You know how we mentioned shit was gonna get weird?
It got weird.
Hi, here's
It got
weird.
weird. Because
Didn't
we don't find out that Ramona's microchipped because, Gideon mentions it or something. We find out because Scott fights Gideon with the power of love sword we mentioned earlier, gets murdered, and then has a conversation with Ramona in like the weird in-between space where she tells him about
In the goddamn soul stone.
It's in her sub, because she hits dreams, right? That's her subspace. That's where she travels through. She travels through people's dreams and such, right? So when Scott was dead, they say like sleeping and death is like one and the same. He's stuck in a dream sequence in his death, and so she's able to visit that subspace. That's where he gets the message.
Scott is dead, allegedly, but because he's got a one-up, he just heads back, reloads his save, gets ready to go.
Yeah, better equipped this time.
Mhm.
And beats through those
Power of
fucking guards
self-respect.
like they were paper.
Oh, the defenses.
Yeah.
Pirka stupid. Boom. Gets 265. It's the twin guards at the door. It's like a bit more change. I just love that part. He goes, "Your haircut's stupid." The guy just explodes.
Couldn't take it.
Funny. He just couldn't take the insult. He just blew up, and I was like, "Oh my god!"
So as he's coming back from the dead and gets through the guards and then gets on stage with Gideon for the second time, he calls the fuck out of Knives and was like, "Okay, I know you're here."
Yeah.
Knives with
Gets
the big with the dual size, dope.
She did not take part in the book, by the way. That was replaced by her dad, which was an earlier fight, and he was geared up like silver samurai.
Oh, but it was so
Ooh.
cool.
Right, watching her actually team up with Scott because now they're on a actual same level of respect for each other. Dope.
That's where he gets his second sword from, right? He's like, "I'm not here to fight. I'm not fighting because of her, Ramona. I'm fighting for myself." And he gets the power of self-respect.
And then Gideon gets off of his already slit arm ass, performs a 7 jutsu hand technique, and summons his own goddamn sword.
Right.
Which that
Perfect.
was wild.
Which had its own life bar, by the way.
As all good weapons should.
Although that
Like-
fight does not happen in the book, by the way. Not like that, anyways.
No?
No,
Aw.
it's completely different. That whole thing is just completely different, man. That whole fight at the end was added in for the movie to make it a little bit more exciting. In the book's ending, it's a bit more of a, I don't know. I can't really describe it. You gotta read it for yourself. It gets more of a humble ending in a sense. It's still great, but like more humble than what you got in the movie.
Which ending
Well, I
do you
imagine that kind
prefer?
of makes sense with the power of self-respect storyline.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't have to be a big flashy thing. It's just for you now.
Yeah.
And then it just happens to be big and flashy anyway in the movie for, I guess, cinematic reasons.
Well, because I think, at the end he realizes that he's like with his bad attitude, treating Ramona the way he did when he cut ties and everything, just made him no better than Gideon. So he gets the sword of understanding, I believe, which is the one he understood, which was just the one he uses to end everything.
I feel like that was in a deleted scene. I don't know. I feel like I saw another part of the movie somehow and saw that as a deleted scene because I remember there's a possible third sword like you mentioned. So I'm not
Yeah, because I believe I think Ramona and Scott they use the sword together, real anime, and they stab Gideon together and they win.
I honestly want to say that could be accurate of how it goes in the movie, but I don't remember.
Yeah,
But it's
that
not a
movie's
bad ending what they have in the movie.
Oh, it works. It makes sense. It's a fun romp at the end too, so I can't complain.
Right? Can you imagine going to brunch with an evil version of yourself?
Yeah.
Watch, that'd be
He's a-
great.
We're going to brunch. He's a cool guy.
He's actually okay.
Yeah, I genuinely
believe-
couldn't imagine going to do anything with my evil twin.
I think Nega Scott gets destroyed in the book. I believe that.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
Scott just wanders off on his own.
Yeah, it just now living in Toronto too. Nega Scott in Toronto as well. Scott and Kim start their own band, and Ramona and Scott walk through the door and life together. That's pretty much it.
Dope. I like that they walked through a door at the end. It was like you're walking on to the next step of like a video game. I'm like that.
We love transitions, yes.
Speaking of that, this movie had excellent transitions where like Scott is saying something and then instantly it's a slide transition to the next character finishing that thought.
Yeah,
Yes.
I'm like, that
This
is
movie is
super
really
interestingly
fast-paced.
cut.
This movie's pacing is really well done, considering it's just one thing after another, after another, after another.
It's a lot of slapstick stuff. A lot of here, like one of my favorite scenes is when Knives shows up at their door, Wallace's place, right? And like Scott like literally runs and hides, but you can see him in plain view. And like they're just acting as like he's not home, he just left. It's like, really? And you can see Scott just run from the back and like jumps out the window and breaks the window with his own body, and he reaches back in and grabs his winter coat and leaves.
Yeah.
They're just standing like, yeah, he's gone. Yeah.
That was also on TikTok there for a while.
That whole sequence is super funny.
I think another movie later on, a handful of years down, Alt ripped that off. Or it ripped it off from sorry. I've seen that scene before, but it's still funny.
Good jokes can be told multiple times. That's the beauty
10-4.
of good jokes.
That a comedy is all about timing. Yeah, that is Scott Pilgrim. That brings us right to the end of everything.
It's a new chapter for Scott and Ramona. It puts them both in a similar respect level that I was saying before. Like, he doesn't judge her anymore for the people that she's been with. It's the same story you kind of go through with dealing with every partner you'll ever meet.
That's basically it, man. You just gotta get used to the idea that people have dated people before you. It's just the
And
way the
sometimes
world
there's
is.
trauma and sometimes there's not.
Yeah, that's just how it goes.
In my own personal way, this show was like, it was my Nega Scott. Like, oh yeah, this movie gets heavily relatable with the exact, antagonist of the movie. It's like, oh, that's what it would be like dating me, huh? No, it was kind of like soul searchy. It was very nice to be like shown that in the mirror.
But no, he's very right. Like, that movie came out a little bit before everything happened to me. Actually, no, it came out just around the same time, I should say. And so it struck a chord with me, right? Giving the idea that you can find love again after everything has happened. You can move on. Things can change. Life goes on.
So the reason we're doing this episode a little bit is, well, kind of serendipitous, is the fact that the Scott Pilgrim game is getting re-released by Limited Run Games. And we've ordered ourselves a copy. So if you'd like to watch us play the game and experience how that story is told instead of the movie version, leave us a comment.
Because I believe the game follows through the book's version all the way through.
Yeah, we'll sit down and play the game for a handful of hours, a handful of times.
So if you want to see the book adaptation come to life, play the game for you.
Or if you just want to tell us how we're wrong and how we're interpreting these characters, which is valid,
You can do that too if you want.
Yeah.
leave us a
Yeah.
comment.
Oh, means come
We're
educate
here
us.
with our takes. Everyone's allowed to have their own.
So unless anybody's got anything else to add to this movie,
It's good seeing all the local spots being filmed. I've walked through those streets. I've walked through most of those places. Even that Pizza they visited, I've been there. So it was just cool to see Toronto all over again, even though I haven't been there in years now.
Beastie, if you please.
All right. That brings us to our wild adventure of, facing the world as Crusade. But you can also see our other adventures on our Twitter, which is at Crusade Nerd, our Instagram at Nerd Crusade, and we upload every Wednesday to YouTube, and you can download any previous episodes or listen on your mobile device through the anchor.fm or wherever podcasts are found by searching Nerd Crusade.
That is to be continued.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this video, go ahead and button mash a thumbs up. If you want to swing by when we have a new video, web up the sub button. Oh, and while you're at it, hit the bell to be notified by.